Hey everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley, and today we are going to have a quick chat about Meghan Markle and her belt proclivities. Many of you have mentioned in the comments or written me to ask, is Meghan Markle consistently wearing these belts that look odd to us in order to create a waist? And it's an excellent question. In some situations, wearing a belt will help create a waist or help define your waist. Totally, 100%, that is true. However, it's not going to work the same way for everybody's body. And the way that you put the belt on and the outfits you choose and things of that nature will determine how helpful it is in creating a waist. And it's simply not the answer for each body type. As we've talked about before, everybody's body type is so unique. We all have a different combination of shapes and sizes and widths and things of that nature. The visual weight, meaning where we look the widest or where our eyes are drawn on our body, is different for everybody. Using a belt or not in order to create a waist is going to be one of those things that is very custom in terms of whether or not it's an optimal choice for a specific person. In Meghan's case, it is not the right choice, and I'm going to explain why in today's video. But before we continue, I just wanted to invite you to please subscribe. If you enjoy this channel or you enjoy these videos, please hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so that you're notified each and every time we post new content. So the widest part of Meghan Markle's body is her shoulders. When you look at her, that is where the visual weight is focused. So essentially what I mean by that is when you take a look at her in various pictures, your eyes tend to gravitate towards her shoulders in most outfits. Not every single outfit, not every single time, obviously. There's things like camera angles to take into account, the style of the outfit, the colors, all of those things can direct the eye to different places. So when you look at an entire catalog of looks or photographs from one person and you consistently see the majority of the time or more than half the time, you are drawn to someone's widest point, or, you know, in this example, Meghan Markle, you would be drawn to her shoulders most of the time. That gives you the indication or verification that that is indeed where her visual weight lies naturally on her body. Because looking at somebody one time in one outfit, you can't really tell for sure. You really have to look at many different outfits, many different days to really be able to verify what the widest part of their body is. Because as I said, everything from the type of outfit, the styling of the outfit, and the camera angles, variables that will change where the visual weight appears in any given picture. You can clearly see broad shoulders are the dominating factor in her body shape and silhouette, natural silhouette. So that would put her in the inverted triangle category primarily. She also lacks a super well-defined waist even before she had pregnancies and things of that nature. Say what you like. I am just using the general language here. Even before then, you could see she didn't have a particularly strong waistline. That paired up with the fact that her waist often looks to be very much similar width to her hips. It's safe to say she's also got some elements of rectangle shape. The next thing impacting whether or not the belts will work to create a waist for her is the fact that she has a short torso. She is very short torsoed. Like very. Her legs are dramatically longer than her torso. I'm not saying this in a mean way. It's just out of proportion visually. It's fine. Long legs have their advantages. I'm not saying anything bad. We all have different proportions to work with. And for her, it is much longer legs, much shorter torso. So if you are short torsoed, you lack a well-defined waist naturally, and your broadest point is your shoulders, then belts are very tricky for you. They just are. Longer torsos that are straight or rectangular can create more of a waist with belts because they have that length in their torso that breaking it up with a belt isn't going to chop them vertically. They can get away with it because they have that length to their torso to play with. Allows them to wear a belt and still look like they have enough torso, if you will. But if you have a short torso and you are adding a belt, you're gonna chop your shape, your vertical lines in half, and it's not going to work that great. This is a concern for if you are petite, belts are tricky. And no matter your shape, even if you are an hourglass or if you're an apple, like any shape that you are, a pear shape, it doesn't matter. If you have a short torso, belts are automatically going to start to get dicey. It's a slippery slope if you don't have an average or long torso. If you have a shorter torso or you're short in general, belts in any shape on any human are tricky. But things that you can do no matter your shape, if you are short torsoed, or if you have a similar body type to Meghan, like a triple whammy in terms of belt wearing concerns, you can create the illusion of a waist just fine by wearing a belt and tucking in your top under a blazer or a cardigan, because then there's only a few inches of that waistline showing no matter what. So the width of your waistline doesn't come into play so much, and you still have the vertical lines along the side that are not breaking up your visual length as much. So no matter who you are, you can get away with wearing belts to help define a waistline or create one if you do it underneath an outer garment that is not interrupted. So don't put the belt on top of the blazer or cardigan or coat. Don't do trenches. Do tuck in, wear a belt under a blazer. You have that little narrow bit of waistline showing to be like, yes, I have a waist, and it gives that illusion of a thinner waistline underneath there, and you still get that visual length from the border, if you will. Another way you can do this is by having your shirt billow out a little bit, like you tuck in nice and tight and sleek and slim fit style, but then you pull the shirt up a little bit so that it folds a little bit over the top of that belt, which gives the effect that the belt is pulling into a thinner waistline underneath that little bit of a blousing of the top. So for Meghan though, she needs to draw the eye to her hips. She needs to create a little volume there, which will give the illusion of a smaller waistline by way of enhancing the hip area. And she needs to work to create a longer line for her torso, which is the literal opposite of the big tie belts that she likes to wear. So as you can see here in this graphic, it describes it this way, that belting is a fabulous way to add shape when you have a naturally defined waist, as it highlights the asset. But if you don't have a defined waist, it just draws attention to it and can make you appear larger overall than you really are. That's exactly what I mean. So if you already have a well-defined waist and your torso is not dramatically short, then go for it and you can use that trick. So I hope that answers the question and clears any confusion about that up. It all has to do with the specific person, and that is exactly what clothing and fashion and style is all about, is individualizing the approach to how you dress to you and your body and making it custom for you. No advice is one size fits all. So thank you guys so much for being here with me today. Don't forget to check out the Happy Day merch that is available now to remind yourself to have a happy day every day. Please do like this video if you enjoyed it and share it with anyone else you think might like it too. I appreciate each and every one of you being here with me today, and I hope that you have a happy day. I'll see you next time.